Shrek's going against the norm. It's changing the game. It's something new, guys.
I have decided that I think my favourite line in all of Shrek is when they come up on Dragon's Castle and he goes, "Sure, it's big, but what about the location?" And he just laughs to himself. It's one of those laughs that even he knows what he's saying isn't funny, but he's going to fucking commit to that joke.
I mean, if you think about it, that's almost every joke you tell, Gavin.
It's meandering movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Meandering Movie Podcast, where we like to talk about movies. Normally, we're all sitting in the same room, so I can see Ryan's wanky hand movements, I can see Gavin's red face, and his weird eyebrows that he drew on at some point.
Leave me alone.
But today, we're all recording, what's the word? We're recording...
Remotely,
due to the current situation. But we decided to discuss in as great detail as possible the 3 Shrek movies.
woohoo!
4.
No, the 3 Shrek movies and the Shrek film made by wanky university students.
Which one's that? Wait, what? What's that?
That's how I described the third one.
Yeah, so from you all have heard, we pretty much just put the Shrek 3 in the bin, don't we? It's pointless and crap, and it is honestly completely forgettable. I had to do a little recap myself, just to read over it, and I completely forgot Prince Charming's in it. Completely forgot.
Yeah, so, but he's done by, what's his name, the posh guy?
Rupert Everett, isn't it?
Yeah, Rupert Everett.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about Shrek. We're going to discuss in details what made it, what broke it, and go from there.
Who's we, Gary?
Well, that's what I'm getting into, Philip. As always, I'm your main host, Gary Copeland.
I'm the cesspool of despair,
Ryan.
Gavin Stewart.
Right on our 4th microphone, sitting in for this episode because he loves the big green man.
Audioboy's had a migraine trying to sort all of this setup out.
Oh, it's a fucking nightmare, isn't it? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I guess for like context, the audience, Audioboy and I are in our flat, and he's set up this kind of mad Discord recording thing where Gary's now in his house and Ryan's in his house, and we're all...
How do you know I'm at my house?
Yeah, how do you know I'm at my house?
Yeah,
I might wear my
that.
Ryan's at
Costa.
the local swimming pool.
The pool's empty. It's just that's why it's so echoey.
So yeah, this is a different episode for us because none of us can see one another. But hopefully, it's going to turn out just like any other train wreck that we put out to you, and you're going to enjoy.
I feel like I'm a radio DJ, and you guys have called into me to talk about Shrek. Like I've put out a message at 3 saying, "Right, guys, at 3:30 we're going to be talking about Shrek the movies. Ring me in, and we'll have a chat live on radio." And then I've got...
Are we going to have a competition?
One sad, lonely man. I've got his son, who's in the same room as him. And someone who's overly excited to talk about Shrek. And I've just got to muddle through this because I get paid.
I'm really scared my phone runs out of either charge or memory before this finishes.
If
plug
not,
it
we'll just upload the other 2/3 of the episode and fuck
Without me.
So where do we want to start? Should we start at the beginning? Best place to
Shrek
start?
I think we start with the hit that is Terminator. So the thing I love about Terminator... Oh wait, no, Shrek. Sorry, Shrek.
Shrek 1 and Terminator have got a lot in common, funnily enough, Gavin.
Do they?
Do they?
Yeah.
Explain.
I should have...
So you remember when Shrek didn't come back from the future, and you remember when Donkey wasn't chased by a massive metal Terminator?
That happens in
man?
Shrek 4. Shrek comes back from the future.
Well, it's not the future, is it? It's an alternate reality.
Well,
Technically.
okay.
That's also not Terminator. So your point is what?
No, I don't know. I was just being facetious. Shrek 1 was at the time... Well, I mean, how do you explain it? It blew up, right? It was against the grain. It was made not by Disney, which at the time most animated films had something, had a finger.
DreamWorks?
Had Disney's finger in them. Well, I think this was it, wasn't it? This was one of DreamWorks' big
Yes, it's
first
like
CGI hits.
I remember when the boy did the fishing rod off the moon, the DreamWorks S got like Shrek ears.
Got Shrekized.
Yeah.
Do you remember when DreamWorks used to do that for all the movies, like Small Soldiers? They had it like the wee boy getting attacked by the small soldiers, and then for Jurassic Park, they had like velociraptors and all kind of stuff.
Mate, how fucking good was Small Soldiers?
That was good. That's got a good cast as well.
It's fucking great.
Tommy Lee Jones.
So Shrek came out in 2001. You know what? Actually, I'm going to rescind what I just said because actually, I mean, it's all right. So here we go. You think about what Disney was pumping out. Disney had Pixar under their belt at this point, so they were jumping out, animated movies left, right, and center. They were doing computer animated movies every 2 years, including Bugs Life, Toy Story. They were smashing the game. DreamWorks animated films. 98, they had Ants. Which
is not good.
I don't like ants.
I rewatched it recently and it's funny. Like, it's animated, so it's for kids, but it's not a kids movie. It's got fucking Woody Allen as like a main character.
It's also not better
Stallone.
than Bugs Life.
Bugs Life is
Absolutely
so much
not.
better.
Absolutely not. And then you've got Prince of Egypt, which I know a lot of people like love, and they've got a fond place in their heart. But that's
Prince of
because
Egypt is
it's because you used to get to watch it during school, didn't you? On a slow day.
The reason Prince of Egypt is so good is just like the design of the shots, like the cinematography for that movie is stunning at times. Like the opening to the movie is so beautiful.
You doing what?
The wax symbol.
Oh,
shit.
like,
you
following
just have
that,
to like say it.
2000, we got The Road to El Dorado, which was a box office flop. But an
underrated masterpiece.
It is an underrated masterpiece. So this is the thing. It's like, these films are actually going back. They're not horrendous. But then Chicken Run, that apparently DreamWorks has that under their
under their wing.
Under their wing. And then you get Shrek.
You said that so like dramatically. I thought like your laptop was going to fall off your desk. You're like, under the wing.
I said it. It was a good pun. Good pun.
I thought Gary was going to say it.
I know. I paused because I went, there's something to say here, but I'm not clever enough to get it. And if I leave it long enough, someone else will pick it up. So then we get Shrek, and at the time it came out, it was made. I don't know. I'm sure you will know this, but for anyone who doesn't, it was made because Disney fired an employee, right?
I think so.
And
yeah.
He went across to DreamWorks and said, "I want to make this movie," and it's basically a big fuck you to Disney, which is why was it Duloc is effectively Disneyland, DL, Duloc, and it's a farce of Disneyland. The main Lord Farquaad himself apparently is meant to be modelled off of Bob Iger.
Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Is it Katzenberg?
He used to be part of Disney, and then he jumped ship, moved to DreamWorks, and he wanted to start making products that kind of actively pushed against what Disney were doing and all that kind of stuff.
So that's where Shrek came from, and the core story itself is literally, the antithesis of a Disney movie where
the antithesis is not the right word. But
what's the right word?
Just like the antipole, I guess.
Okay, cool. It's the antipole of a Disney movie where a big, ugly monster is the hero, and then they go and save the beautiful princess, and then they make the beautiful princess ugly,
Yeah.
And the other thing that it did was it obviously poked fun, and it had a bunch of adult humor, which Disney hadn't really waded into at this point. So Lord Farquaad sounds like Lord Fuckwad. I'm pretty sure he gets a boner at one point. There's a bunch of risque jokes and yada yada yada, but Disney wasn't doing that. DreamWorks like, fuck it, let's do it, and it blew up. People loved it, and it was because at the time there wasn't much you could take your kid to and be actually interested in watching yourself.
Yeah, true.
And the cast was stellar as well. You had Mike Myers, who was smashing it at that time, with Austin Powers.
Well, who was it originally? It was because before Mike Myers, it was that guy from SNL who was friends with Adam Sandler, but he died.
Chris Farley.
It was going to be Chris Farley originally, who was going to voice Shrek, and then of course he died, and then so Mike Myers came in.
Apparently, it was Mike Myers' idea to have him Scottish as well.
Yeah, it was like Mike Myers
I feel like Mike Myers will just fucking bust out a Scottish accent at any opportunity, though.
True.
Is that a baby?
I think you can hear an original recording of what Chris Farley was going to do.
Really?
And it's weird. Like, it wasn't... I think it was good they ended up with Mike Myers and his...
You try to say it's good that Chris Farley died, is that what you're saying?
I mean, I didn't want to say those
It
words.
sounds a
but I
bit like
guess
that's what you're saying.
for the Shrek franchise, it was good. But for us as humanity, it wasn't.
Chris Farley was the Chris Pratt of his time, wasn't he? Really?
Yeah.
Except fatter and in way
More
worse
funny?
shape. And what?
More funny.
You think?
Chris Pratt's not that funny.
I don't think
I
either
think
of them
he
are
is.
funny.
I think Chris Pratt's pretty funny.
I think, no, Chris Pratt he gets delivered good scripts and he's able to work with good
That's like
writing,
you
but
saying
it's
you've been out for a beer with Chris Pratt and he's not funny. How do you know it's not funny?
Because I just don't think he's...
Have you ever hung
funny.
out with Chris Pratt?
I don't know, man. Have you not seen what is it? It's the writers of Parks and Rec so obviously Parks and Rec they did use quite a bit of improvisation, but one of the writers, and they've got a video of it somewhere, is talking about Chris Pratt and the line in Parks and Rec where everyone's got a cold and his character types into Google and goes, "I just googled your symptoms and you've got network connectivity problems." And the writer's talking about that joke, and he just says, Chris Pratt improvised that on set, and I am so angry I'll never write anything as funny as that line. And I was like, yeah, there you go. I mean, he's got to be quick, right? If you can improvise shit like that off the cuff and stay in character, it's a good trait.
Yeah, that's true.
Fine.
Yeah, he's funny. He's
You look
funny.
so defeated right now.
And Shrek blew up. It had a great cast. Mike Myers. We had Eddie Murphy. John Lithgow.
Yes, he was Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad. And of course, Cameron Diaz, smashing it as Princess Fiona.
She has a proper sexy voice.
She does have a proper sexy voice.
And like
And
quite like a memorable voice as well. She's a good voice actress.
It was surprising at the time. I mean, not at the time I didn't give a fuck, but surprising listening back and watching Shrek recently and thinking, Cameron Diaz at that point wasn't a voice actress, was she? Was that her first voice acting role, actually?
Yeah, I think
and
so, yeah.
She does a really good job in it.
Yeah, like because obviously Eddie Murphy and Mike Myers had done a few things like that before.
Bits and pieces here and there.
Eddie Murphy had just come off of Milan before he then went on to Shrek. So he was,
Yeah, he was boofed up.
This guy's got me scared to death.
Hope he doesn't
I
see
think
right
they-
through me.
one of the, there's a lot of great things about Shrek and why it kind of stands out compared to the Disney stuff. And it's like you've got the kind of anti-fantasy humor, like it makes fun of the genre itself, and then it puts in a bunch of like pop songs that also connect with what's happening.
The Rise of All Star by Smash Mouth.
We've got off the Smash Mouth. We can't escape the.
I think that's the greatest edit of all time. Is the start of the movie
When he busts
where he
the door
rips
open.
the page out of the book and he's somebody and he kicks the door open.
Aye,
What
that'll
a
be
way to
right.
start a film. The
Yeah, that is
best.
good. And then I think he in Shrek's first line in the film, he swears. Because he says he's reading the story
Aye.
and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Well,
yeah.
I'll load it," and then flushes the
Flush.
toilet. So like that's just straight off the bat, really putting you into like the tone of how this film's going to be.
like this is not a Disney movie, even though it's animated. This is for you grown-ups.
Yeah, it's going to be.
And it's
really
interesting you say
different.
that, Gav, about the kind of music in Shrek 1 and how because in Shrek 1 it does really work, and I think it's a bit of a detriment going forwards. Because in Shrek 1, I think Shrek 1 the majority of jokes are. I think Shrek 1's fairly timeless. After rewatching it, there wasn't anything in there that I thought, oh, this hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
And then I went into Shrek 2, and kind of contrary to that point, Shrek 2's got a bunch of jokes. There's one about Shirley Bassey, which I think even at the
she's
time,
timeless.
well, yeah, even at the time was probably a bit of a fucking like left fielder. And now it's just, who are you talking about? And there's
this
a Spider-Man
fish
2
you're talking
reference. Huh?
What's the Spider-Man 2 reference?
Right at the beginning of the fight, right at the beginning of the film, they get into a fight. Shrek gets pulled up in a trap, and he drops, and his head falls into mud, and then he's hanging there, and then Fiona pulls the mud off of his face
and kisses
and
him.
does-
Yeah,
It's like and again, that was huge at the time. Spider-Man was was another cornerstone of culture, but now it's just this weird thing they do, and if you haven't seen Spider-Man 2, it's just weird. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
But it's
just
still
like to
funny.
think
Like, it just doesn't take itself too seriously. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, that's the good thing is they were making a film to come out and be a good film at the time. They weren't like, oh, this film's going to last forever. It's going to be resonated with for years to come, which I feel like they always try and do with children's films. They were just like, I'm going to make a good film, and they'll probably be funny for 2 years, and then no one will care. But I think in doing that, it has been funny forever.
I'm sure, Gav, you'll agree with this. A film should be timeless.
I mean, when it comes to animated films, I think kind of what Ryan says. They have their lifespan, and they kind of go away. There's other movies that are ultimately timeless, like Casablanca. That's a movie that's timeless. It's going to go on forever. But something like a Shrek, let's be honest, with DreamWorks, where they were at the time, they'd had some good movies, but they're probably just thinking like, hey, let's just get this Shrek thing out, see if it goes anywhere. If it lands, sweet.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, we'll move on to our next 3 projects that we've got lined up.
Yeah, I
It
think
did
like
land.
if you're making a kids film as well, if you're wanting to make something timeless, you have to have an aspect of quite a serious kind of, like, it needs to be quite serious, which I think they just sort of let fly, and that's why Shrek's so good.
Yeah. And it does
Also,
work.
kids are fickle little things.
Kids are fickle little things. But I suppose the way I see it, though, personally, is you watch Shrek 2, and then 3, and then 4 to a degree. I think 4 they reel it back in quite a lot. But Shrek 2 and 3 are really bad for it. They're almost like scary movies. You know, like the Scary Movie franchise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which are almost impossible to watch. Like, if you didn't grow up with those films, if you weren't in the kind of social media, or the media sphere of that time,
The culture
those films
of the time.
Yeah, the culture. They're fucking impossible. It's just reference after reference after reference of things that you have no cornerstone of.
Yeah, those are definitely movies of their time, because like it was somewhat recently, like I think Scary Movie 2 was on or something like that, and I was watching a wee bit of it, and there's literally 3 scenes that come one after the other, and it's just people trying to fuck someone else and the other person not really being into wanting to get fucked, and it's just that for 3 scenes, and I'm like, this isn't a movie, this is just like, let's just get a bunch of teenagers horny and then send them out into the world.
Yeah.
And we'll do a couple of weird like Michael Jackson references, or I don't know, whatever fucking TV, like The Real World, if maybe that was popular at the time. But it's just like, you're just pointing at things and saying, look, remember that? And then moving on. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it really doesn't work in Shrek 2 and Shrek 3. But then, moving on, we kind of middled about and faffed. Shrek 2 came out, 2-3 years after Shrek 1?
2003, I think it came out.
2004, I think.
Was it 2004?
By my...
2004.
Because
the best thing about
in
recording these
2003,
remotely...
Chris Miller was making the best film he's ever made in his life. Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas.
Oh yes, that winner of movies right there.
That's so good.
The best Sinbad movie is that Harryhausen... what was it? Sinbad Harryhausen? What the fuck was it called? The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Gav, have you seen this?
No.
I don't think I've seen one Sinbad thing, and it was like the original like movie from the 50s or 40s, I want to say.
Well, the one with the metal bull in it.
Yeah,
That one's so good too.
Man, no, the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad was one of Harryhausen's films. It had stop motion animation. It had a woman who gets shrunk and carried around in a lantern.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Is that it?
The witch gets sunk. Remember, she turns into a seagull and then she gets sunk, and then there's like a tiger in it and a giant metal bull.
I don't remember I remember the witch makes a woman come out of a pot as like a blue snake lady. She's got 4 arms.
Maybe we're not thinking of the same one.
No, I think we do. I think we're talking different ones. There's a Cyclops in the one I'm talking about, and then you
there's
get
too
the
much
fucking
Sinbad content out there.
arrow in the eye.
We need to explore the Sinbad cinematic universe at some point.
I mean, I don't know anything other than the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I'm like Googling it now. Holy shit, man. Nostalgia through the fucking
Yeah,
eyes.
that's the same one.
Is it?
I'm also now Googling it, and it's the same one.
The Seventh
It had
Voyage
like
of
the death
Sinbad.
of Talos and stuff in it. Oh no, wait. Maybe we're
Funny
all
thing
just
is, with
thinking.
us
I think
all
there's a
sitting in
few
our-
Sinbads he
our
made, and I think we've all just
respective
mashed them
houses,
into
we're all
one.
just
But I think there's like 3 films.
Well, the Seventh Voyage was the best one, and I'll fight you on that.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of the Cyclops one.
Yeah, Cyclops. There's
Where
a rock.
like the Cyclops fights him on the beach,
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I'm
and
thinking.
then there's one where they fight.
That one.
Man,
Cali?
Harryhausen back in the day was a
As in, like,
fucking
the Indian-
boy.
Every
wasn't
time I
I
he?
can't
type in
remember.
Sinbad movie, it just keeps giving me the fucking Legend of the Seven Seas. I don't give a fuck about Legend of the Seven Seas. I want proper Sinbad.
I want the proper Sinbad.
Oh yeah,
The Sinbad.
The Seventh
Fucking
Voyage
hell.
of Sinbad. It came out in 1958. It's fucking brilliant. It's again stop motion animation, but it's also live action, and it's brilliant. But back to DreamWorks and their shit show of a fucking filmography. Because after
Yeah, Shrek 2 came out.
Because they've got Shrek 2, which came out in 2004, and it's great. But it's the beginning of the downfall of the Shrek franchise? Question mark,
Yeah.
I ask.
I'd say so. Shrek 2 is good, although the jokes that I was talking about a second ago, which are their references and their pop culture references, are in there. They're not the bread and butter of the movie. The movie still stands if you strip all of that crap out of it, you know?
And Shrek 2 is one of those sequels that's better than the first one. I think Shrek 2 is better than Shrek 1.
I'd say so, definitely.
I like Shrek 1 over Shrek 2.
But Shrek 2's got a better villain, like it's got a better built villain and all that kind of stuff. Like there's more of a story to it, whereas Shrek 1's is kind of like 5 or 6 different kind of small quests.
Yeah, I'm after rewatching them again. I definitely Shrek 1 when you watch it is actually like fuck all happens. It's just a bunch of like jokes and setups, which is fine. And then Shrek 2 is, you're right, like has a full story. It arcs. Characters have reasons to hide things. Like they have depth. They've got layers, you could say.
Oh, fuck off. I guess the context that I should give is I've not watched any Shrek movie for like a very long time, so I'm just going off of the memory I have of the Shrek movies from when I was like fucking maybe 14 or something. That was like maybe the last time I watched the Shrek movies from front to back.
You haven't watched a Shrek movie since you're 14.
Well, I've
What have
only
you been
watched
doing?
Shrek watching any other fucking movies, to
Do
be
you not
honest.
like the Shrek films?
I like them. I like the first two because I've only seen the first two, but I've never had a desire to go back and watch them.
You're a
nor have I
fucking
had
moron.
any interest to watch the third or the fourth one.
They're
So, I just want to I want the audience out there to know that there's a whole lot of better movies out there to watch than the Shrek movies, and
the audience on
this
that you'll
isn't-
have sense and know that that's not true.
this isn't really my episode of expertise or knowledge. So I'm just gonna.
When are we going to have that?
Touche.
I do agree, Gav, that Shrek 2, it does kind of start the beginning of the downfall of Shrek. Well, not the downfall, because Shrek 2 happens, the storyline in that is, for anyone that doesn't know, Shrek and Fiona get called to her kingdom because she's a princess and he's got to meet the parents and they're both ogres, and then the parents are like, oh, fuck, kill them things. But the mum's not, she's cool. And
Julianne-
the fairy godmother, who's the villain, had a plan to make her son
Jennifer
a king.
Saunders?
Jennifer Saunders, who fucking smashes I
Need a Hero.
at the end of the movie.
Absolutely kills it.
I need a
Fucking
hero
kills it.
is like it's the best moment in the entire film. It's
See the
just-
bit
it
when
really
see the
is.
bit when Puss in Boots jumps off the horse and like to protect Shrek so he can keep going. I nearly cry at that every time.
And when Mongo
So good.
falls into the water,
Yeah, we need to talk about that name and how that didn't stand the test of time. But other than that, yeah, good.
it is a bad one.
It's a real bad one.
Did they have any other meaning behind it in the movie, or did they just mean like, oh, it's funny because it sounds like it's what we call idiots?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think they
that-
distanced themselves from that name because I remember having the Shrek 2 Top Trumps set.
Oh.
Because that's the kind of kid I was.
Good God.
And he was always referred to as the giant gingerbread man and was never called
Yeah,
that
you think
name
after
ever
they
again.
recorded it, they realised what a mistake they'd made.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, grim.
The interesting thing about I don't know how much more you want to say Shrek 2, but I just want to, because now that I have
Oh,
this
so
list,
much more.
I mean, I know, but I've got the list in front of me here of all the DreamWorks movies, and
Yeah.
other than like after Shrek 2, it's a bleak.
It's like
bleak
all the
area.
Madagascar ones and that happened after Shrek 2.
Yeah, like Madagascar and B movie and Over the
Madagascar
Hedge
was good.
and-
Shark Tale.
That's just
Shark
prime
Tale
meme
after
material
Shrek 2.
everywhere.
No, Shark Tale was bad, to be fair.
Shark Tale, the travesty upon cinema.
Right,
And then-
wait, because you know what? This will be interesting. Let's go through this list because this is interesting. So Shrek 2 was decent. I think you're right. I think it holds the test of time. I do agree with you, Ryan. I think it's
It was
a
the
better
last
movie.
good movie they did until Kung Fu Panda, which came out
for
4
a
years
good
later.
while.
But Kung Fu Panda did really well. And all of those films are so good.
But yeah, so what
Yeah.
do we got? So then we get Shark Tale, Madagascar, which is Over the Hedge, which I love.
I like Over the Hedge as well.
Yeah, man.
But I am aware that it's not a fucking that's going to be forgotten about once we die.
Also,
Yeah.
Flushed
the
Away.
Hedge.
I like Flushed Away.
Oh.
What the fuck is Flushed Away?
If you never seen it, it's Flushed Away. It's so good.
It was the Aardman animation trying
no
to jump
wonder I
into
haven't seen it. I
CGI.
like to watch actual movies, not Aardman nonsense.
Fuck off, Gavin. Why do you hate Joy?
Because he did Wallace and Gromit and Curse the Were-Rabbit as well.
They did, yeah.
God, I sat through that cinema and it was maybe
Shut
the
up,
first
Gavin.
movie as a
Shut
child I
up.
wanted to walk out of.
What are you talking about?
So boring.
It's the most lovely film ever.
It's not. Paddington's the most lovely film ever.
That's fair.
Paddington, yeah,
Before
I can't argue
Paddington
that.
existed.
Okay, so other shitty
That was
films
the
they
most
did.
lovely.
They also did every kind of version of Madagascar available, taking every single
Yeah.
character and giving every character its own film
Well,
for some reason.
can I also just say, interestingly, what DreamWorks did with Shrek 2 and Shrek to extension, that they also did. They brought the rise, and DreamWorks specifically were bad for this. With Madagascar, Shark Tale's a prime example. Flushed Away, Over the Hedge. You know, fuck voice actors. Let's just get our big hitting names in
absolutely.
and get them to read off a script and fucking half-ass it, because
Yeah, like Hugh Jackman is not a voice actor.
B-Movie was quite literally made because Jerry Seinfeld. That's it. That's the entire reason that movie exists.
I've never
Yeah.
seen the film Monsters vs. Aliens, but that looks shit.
It's awful. It's so awful.
It's not great. And you're right, yeah, Kung Fu Panda was probably the best thing they released, and that is 2008 to 2004, 4 years after. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 films they managed to cram in those 4 years. 7 movies.
Then they made
Also,
How to
something
Train Your
which-
Dragon as well, which I love too. So
Yeah.
Something that has to be mentioned is like the animation, like the animation in Shrek 2 is good, but between Shrek 2 and Kung Fu Panda, the animation in the rest of those movies does not hold up.
But you know, like,
yeah,
what?
like
So what?
awful.
They made Abominable last year, right? Mm-hmm. So, but if you go from Shrek, which came out in 2001, to Abominable, that came out last year, the animation hasn't ever really changed.
Yeah, they've got a style, and unless, like, How to Train Your Dragon's different, and that's got, you know, that's stylistically changed, but everything else that's just DreamWorks has
It kind of
has
just
a
looks the same.
vibe.
There's no sort of like advancement, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. We need to mention.
It's not like Pixar, where every movie that you know that, I don't know if you guys know this, the shorts at the beginning of Pixar films, 9 times out of 10 are trialing a new form of animation, which then in the next movie comes into it. So, for example, Lava, that one where the 2 volcanoes are singing,
Oh, yeah.
that was them testing their cloud program for something in the next one, which I can't remember what it would have
Probably
been,
Up.
but yeah, it might have been Up, something like, you know what I mean? But everyone's basically a short animation test that they put a lot of love and work into for something coming up. Whereas DreamWorks just keep churning out round cartoon characters.
The best DreamWorks film is Rise of the Guardians, and I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
Man, I'll give you that 100%. That film's fucking dope.
So good.
Never
It's
Gavin's
so
probably
good.
never seen it 'cause he's a loser, but
Hugh Jackman plays
Easter Bunny.
Easter Bunny, there you go.
yeah, and he's really stepped up from when he's in Flushed Away.
Really stepped up.
But there's a really good
Because
bit, in Flushed Away when he's picking out his outfit in the morning, and he goes through like all Hugh Jackman's outfits from his old films, like the Wolverine suits and stuff in his wardrobe.
Wolverine's in there, isn't it?
I mean, what you should have said there, Ryan, is there's a really good moment in Flushed Away, and I just stopped talking because I doubt there's any, and then that'd just be the end of the conversation, and we go back.
There's
to
a
Shrek.
couple of good jokes.
Yeah.
There is a couple, but it's not a great movie.
It's
I'm
not.
with you.
Bill Nye's good though.
But so that's Shrek 2, and it was great. And then that leads you into the travesty, the fucking genuine travesty.
What leads you
Go on.
into
I
the
think-
travesty was, did anyone have the extended edition of Shrek 2 where they did the X Factor thing and Simon Cowell was in it?
Yes.
I remember that.
So
I remember
good.
that.
And then
But
also,
even that was riding on the coattails of Shrek 1's karaoke party, right?
True.
What the fuck are you all talking about?
there was like
At the end of Shrek 1
There's
on
like an
VHS,
extended
there was
edition after they did like Live and La Vida Loca, so it cut into afterwards, and then like Simon Cowell turns up, and he does a sort
Is
of
it actually
X
Simon
Factor
Cowell?
for
Yeah.
the
Shrek
actual
characters.
Simon
The
Cowell.
real life
Yeah.
Simon Cowell walks in his real form in this like computer animated world.
It's really
He
funny
walks in
because
as
the
a
only
real
thing they
human
change
being.
is Like he's got his black
No,
t-shirt
he
on, but
doesn't.
it's got like sort of medieval sleeves. Other than that, he's exactly the same.
He's that's what they called it, the far away idol.
Far, far away idol, yeah. And
Far away idol.
the best voice actor in all of Shrek sings Larry King.
Larry King.
Yeah, Larry King is the ugly stepsister.
Oh, well, they changed it for the British one, didn't they? Do you
Yeah.
remember? If you went to see it in the cinema, you got Jonathan Ross instead.
What?
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw it in the
Jonathan
cinema.
On Netflix, it's Larry King. But I forgot to mention that when we rewatched it, me and Hannah, I went, "Wait, what the fuck just happened there?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "That's not Jonathan Ross." And she went, "Yeah, it's never been Jonathan Ross." And I was like,
That's
it
wild.
fucking was Jonathan Ross."
Yeah.
I did not know that.
There you go.
This is some life-changing information for Philip and Ryan.
Yeah,
I love how they went from, oh, we'll get Larry King in to do this. Oh, well, UK people know who Larry King is. No, okay. Right, so we need someone really old with a very distinctive, like, gruff voice.
Yeah,
And they get Jonathan Ross.
I mean, they
I
didn't
think
have.
it's just funny.
I guess the only other choice would have been Graham Norton
Why?
because he's a talk show host like Jonathan Ross and
Because
Larry
he was
King.
big at the time, wasn't he? Yeah.
Jonathan Ross was big at the time because of Andrew Sachs'
You get like a
granddaughter.
Terry Wogan or something, like an old man.
Terry Wogan would not have. Terry Wogan was busy fiddling kids.
Well, I think Jonathan Ross
Terry
at the time
Wogan
was
never fiddled kids.
Terry Wogan definitely did, mate.
Don't disparage the name of Terry Wogan now that he is long dead.
I'm
and
pretty
in the
sure
ground
Terry Wogan
peacefully.
is on the list of.
Are you now googling to see if Terry Wogan was a kid fiddler?
I've never ever googled Terry Wogan paedophile in my life, but I'm googling it now. Maybe not.
There we go. See, thank you, Terry Wogan, for being a national treasure and never disparaging your beautiful name. Rest in peace, man.
I mean, oh wait, no, he wasn't
National
a paedophile. He
treasure
just
to
took all that money from
Ireland.
children in need. That's why.
We had him as well.
right. So that brings us to the travesty, which is Shrek 3. Shrek the Third.
I think in
Which-
the world of, from what I can get from the conversations I've had with you before, in the world of Gary and Philip, and possibly Ryan as well, it goes like World War II and all these terrible disasters are all below Shrek the Third, and you think Shrek the Third might be the worst thing to happen to us as a society and a species forever
It's
and
so
ever.
bad.
What I don't understand though is considering that
You're not
they
far
had
off.
2 shots as well, right? Considering they had 2 Shrek films under their belt, which are both very good. What, like, how? How did they
think-
go so fucking horribly wrong?
What happened was they were just Shrek 1 and 2 were just so good. They were like, we can pretty much do whatever the fuck we want now, and people will lap it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And then they did it, and they're like, shit, maybe we can't just do whatever we want. And that's why
It's-
they brought it back for Shrek 4.
Ugh. So, and very quickly, let's jump into it, and I mean very quickly, because I can't be fucked talking about Shrek 3. Shrek goes, he has to find King Arthur or Prince Arthur. Merlin's in it. They go and find him. They come back. Prince Charming's
Justin Timberlake, right?
there. Yeah, Justin Timberlake playing Prince Charming.
No, he's Merlin. Rupert Everett's still Prince Charming.
Oh, sorry, no, he's
Arthur.
Justin Timberlake's
That's who he
Arthur.
is.
Arthur, yeah. Prince Charming's back, and he's decided he wants revenge. And then a bunch of shit happens, and the film ends. And Fiona has babies. That's it. That's the whole movie. That's all I fucking remember, and that's all I care to remember.
Yeah, and they tried, like, that was the kind of start of, like, you know, sort of feminist stuff in films, and they tried to have that weird kind of, like, girl gang of,
Yeah,
like, those kind of people.
Where they all break out of
It just
prison.
seemed really
Yeah.
forced.
yeah.
Like
and,
all-
it was and like I think when you get to that one, the jokes just felt so lazy. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the princesses. There's Sleeping Beauty, and she
Asleep.
falls asleep.
So, after some research and looking into it, Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 were pretty more or less the same team of people, primarily led by Andrew Adamson, who was
Right.
like, directing and writing. And then by the time you get to Shrek 3rd, it's an entirely different team of people, directed by Chris Miller and screenplay by Jeffrey Price and Peter Seaman and a bunch of other people. And so what seems to have happened to answer your question of what happened with Shrek the Third is whoever worked in the first two wasn't interested or maybe weren't allowed to work in the third one, and they got pushed off, and they brought in a whole new bunch of people who didn't understand the finesse and nuance of the Shrek franchise.
I feel like part of that is a big issue
There is
now with
so
like
much finesse and
your
nuance.
modern films and things. That I think the music plays a big part in that. Where when you think of Shrek, you think of like Smash Mouth and like Accidentally in Love
Yeah.
and I'm a Believer and all
Counting
this kind of
Crows.
stuff. And they're the things that stick out in your head. So you're like, let's make a Shrek movie. Let's just fill it all with music.
I love that meme, which is who sung Hallelujah in the first Shrek? Buckley.
Jeff Buckley, yeah.
And someone tweeted saying Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah is one of the most beautiful, heart-wrenching songs I think I've ever heard. It's perfectly crafted and well-constructed, and I'm so glad that the first time I heard it was in a Shrek movie.
I also feel I should let Audioboy be aware of the fact that it's not just Shrek that makes me think of Smash Mouth. I wake up thinking of Smash Mouth, I live my life thinking of Smash Mouth, and I go to bed thinking of Smash Mouth. Shrek's just an extra little joiner factor in the Smash Mouth creator universe.
Last time I meant to say to you, last time I was round, I went into your room when you were in the kitchen. I was just kind of like ruffling around looking for stuff. You have got the same CD 120 times stashed in a locked safe, and it's all Smash Mouth.
You weren't supposed to see that. That's my private Smash Mouth collection of just the one single CD that has the two good songs on it.
But he's also got the Heaven is a Half Pipe as well.
3 good songs
By
on them.
OPM.
They were all sticky as well, Gavin.
What I do in my time with my Smash Mouth CDs is my business. Thank you very much.
So moving on, Shrek Forever After, where they brought it back, baby.
But wait, before we go on, remember, like, it was Chris Miller that did the third one, right?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Chris Miller was just like the voice of the mirror in the first two.
Really?
Like, I think he's the voice. He does the magic mirror.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So it's almost as if they've gone like they got the voice cast back. Everyone's there, and they're like, we don't really know what to do. We've lost Andrew Adamson as director, and they're like, does anyone want to do it? And Chris was like, yeah, I'll do it. I mean, I'm the mirror, so I'm doing not too much. So yeah,
I was in the room for the first two.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a rough idea how this shit works.
I was in the first two for 35 seconds. So.
So there you go. Shrek 3, just ignore it. If you are going to watch these movies after listening to this, guys, just drop Shrek 3. Put it in the bin, punt it over the wall, be gone with it. And then Shrek 4. Tagline, it ain't ogre till it's ogre.
That is good.
Amazing.
Yes, I'd like to confirm what Ryan said. Chris Miller is both a voice actor, animator, director, and screenwriter, so he did voice the magic mirror in the first two, and then went on
Did you
to
check?
direct the third one. Of course I checked.
I never check anything that you say.
I just
Why
confirmed
did you
what you
check?
said. Because I wanted to confirm what you said, and you were correct.
wanted
This is
to
a
know.
good thing.
His big old brain, he needed more knowledge.
I
Yeah,
have a
here's knowledge
laptop
for you.
set-
The really good French actor plays Robin Hood. Can't remember his name though. Vincent Cassel. There you go. I don't know how the hell they managed to get him to do it, but he did it.
I mean, guess DreamWorks just had the money to put out there.
Just fucking plow someone into it. So yeah, Shrek Forever After, they stripped it all back, didn't they? They realized that if Shrek was a genuine king with kids, you can't make a fun film out of that.
Well,
So
I mean,
they-
at the end of Shrek 3, the whole thing is that that Arthur becomes the king. He takes over. That's
Well,
why they
still
go and
got
find
3
him, because
kids.
he's the heir to the throne, and Shrek doesn't want to do it. And like Fiona, they don't want to do it.
Again, I don't remember. I couldn't remember. And then
So wait, it's like
That's their whole reason for
Shrek's
finding him.
basically what Shrek's done is like Julie Andrews is living with Frog John Cleese, and they're loving their life, and they're really rich. And then Shrek's gone out his way to disprove their royalty was, and they've lost all their money, they've lost their home, they've lost their castle. So now they're just homeless, and King Arthur lives there.
Well, and one of them's dead. So literally, just Julie Andrews is homeless.
Oh yeah, and she's got the wee bit of garden where the frog's buried.
And so I think Shrek 4, they realized that if he's got 3 kids, like, you can't have a crazy madcap adventure with 3 babies. They could have grown up the kids, but nobody wants that. So they just stripped him all of it. Rumpelstiltskin, with his magic powers, just fucks all of Shrek's fucking family in the bin. And you get, I mean, Shrek 4 was fucking good, right?
I don't remember. I think I've only seen it once.
Looking at the writing and directing team for Shrek 4, you should be fucking thrilled it was as good as you was. Because the director of Shrek 4 has put out some true, unabashed garbage.
Really?
Was it not the guy who did? He's the guy who did like Monsters vs Aliens and stuff.
He
Can't remember his
did
name.
Monsters vs. Aliens, the SpongeBob movie, Trolls, Sky High.
Like he
The
clearly
Lo-
just works for like
Sky
DreamWorks.
High, man.
Sky High was
High.
The most recent thing he did
So
was
bad.
the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
Which
Which
movie?
The second Lego movie, he directed that.
He did Kung Fu Panda 3. That was good.
But then here's the thing, right? I think Shrek Forever After was like, they really could have turned out anything, and it would have
Been
you know,
better, exactly.
It would have been better. So it's probably the nostalgia of it, or like my brain just being like, yeah, no, it was good because it wasn't Shrek 3. So I mean, yeah, for anyone who's not seen Shrek 4, Rumpelstiltskin makes a deal with Shrek to make his family not exist for a day,
Yes.
and that fucks with the time.
And in return, he
space-time
gives
continuum.
Rumpelstiltskin another day of his, and Rumpelstiltskin, obviously being a mischievous Machiavellian
Trickster.
type, chooses the day that Shrek was born. So therefore, he's now transported into a world in which Shrek was never born.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Fuck's
A
sake.
question that I have, based upon a story that I suffered through in my past, was one night, Audioboy, Gary and I went out for drinks and got quite... Gary and I got quite sloshed.
Blasted.
I think I got very sloshed.
You got
If
destroyed.
it's the night I'm thinking of.
You became an unbearable problem by the end. But throughout that entire night, you just started singing a Rumpelstiltskin song. The Rumpelstiltskin song you sang to me over and over again for maybe 3 hours. Was this a song from Shrek Forever After?
No, that's just the story of Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay.
It's fucking dumb.
Hey, you, frumpy pigskin.
Frumpy pigskin. So then you're watching a movie where Shrek never existed. Fiona's now a badass resistance fighter, right?
Yeah.
Puss in Boots is fat.
Indeed.
They were testing out the
Donkeys.
Thor thing.
Yeah, basically.
Like, this is going
Donkeys
to
in
come
it? I
around
can't-
in the year 2019.
Donkey's got like PTSD and all this. He's working he's just a ragged
Why does Donkey have
boy.
PTSD?
He's been
Dragon
working
sex.
for Rumpelstiltskin.
Because he's been working for Rumpelstiltskin. So there you go. And yeah, basically
movie
Shrek's
sounds
got to get his
bleak.
life back.
It
If
is.
No, it is. And what is it? If he kisses his true love by the end of a week or something, then everything reverts. Is that right? Am I
Yes.
remembering that? Yeah.
That is true.
So
Well, the end of the
Film
day,
continues.
he has 24 hours.
24 hours. So he's got to try and fucking man a resistance in 24 hours, which they obviously are successful in. And then yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's better than Shrek 3. And I don't remember it being quite as pop culture heavy.
It sounds pretty like it was
memory.
actually taking on some serious kind of... Like, it's not really... Like, having a space-time continuum and stuff is, like, quite hard for young kids to get their heads around. Like, it was almost like
yeah.
they were making a film for people who were young enough watching Shrek 1 for the age they would be watching Shrek 4, which was when
and-
that came
and
out
I'm
in
pr-
2010, so that's like, what, 9 years later?
I'm like 85% sure, but I'm sure the end of that movie comes to the crux of Shrek sees Fiona happy, almost, happier than she is with him with his 3 kids. And he's like, well, look, we don't have to break the spell. You could just continue living and being happy, And it's like there's quite, like a pretty hard moral dilemma of, do you rip someone else's life away from them just because you want your one back? Like, you fucked it in the first place, kind of thing.
Would you rip
It's
my
good.
life
The same in
away
the
to
second
get
one as
your
well,
life
when he has to
back?
choose, like, they can look like humans forever, or they
Yeah.
can, they can go back to being ogres and stuff.
And it tries to teach you that it's not about, it shouldn't matter what you look like.
God,
it's
it's
what you
good.
do on the inside.
It's
No,
not as
I
good as
do
Cherry
on my
Run,
inside.
but God, it's good.
Inside.
I make jobbies on my insides.
I mean, I've got an important question that I feel none of us have even considered talking about yet, which
Hit it.
is
Go.
obviously we have Shrek 1, 2, maybe 3, depending on your outlook on life, and then 4. But what about the Puss in Boots movie? How does that play into this mass franchise?
No,
of
don't pull the
yours?
cord. Never seen it.
Well, I was going to shout it out as the older bonus film. Puss in Boots came out. It's a prequel to the Shrek universe, and it's the stories of Puss in Boots when he was a young, young Zorro-esque type. And
Funny that they got
Zach
Antonio Banderas to
Galifianakis-
play him, and he's basically just Zorro again.
He's literally Zorro. Zach Galifianakis plays Humpty Dumpty, and they go on a quest to find a golden egg to make them rich. And Humpty Dumpty has an existential crisis because he's a bad egg.
Existential crisis.
Literally an existential crisis.
Starts to crack.
It starts to crack.
It's not even a
literally.
yolk.
Stop.
Unfertilized chicken period.
You've been inside for too long.
But yeah, it's man, Puss in Boots is fine as well. It's the usual spin-off from another more popular universe. Obviously, there's only one, so that kind of tells you how well it did. But
There's
it was
also
alright.
that was also a Chris
Is it
Miller
as
film.
good as
Yes.
Shrek 4? Where does it compare?
I've only watched it once, so I again.
Who are the
I don't think
baddies?
I ever went back to it. I mean, there's no Shrek in it. Put it that way. There's no Shrek,
Yeah.
so it's
I
who
think
cares, right? Fuck it.
Looking at the list of films from DreamWorks, I kind of wonder myself. I think to myself, like, how the fuck is DreamWorks still about and kicking and alive? But I realise if they didn't have Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, and How to Train Your Dragon, DreamWorks would have died and disappeared a long time ago.
And Madagascar.
I mean, sure, I guess, but who?
I mean, dude, I think they're crap. But wait, who made Ice Age as well?
That was
Blue Sky.
Pixar.
That wasn't Pixar.
Definitely not Pixar.
Blue Sky.
It wasn't
What the hell's
DreamWorks.
Blue Sky.
They did robots as well.
Oh fuck! Remember Robots?
Yes,
That
I
was
do
good.
remember Robots.
Oh shit! They're owned by
really
Walt
good.
Disney now. Blue Sky.
Of course they are.
Had Ewan McGregor in it.
So there you go. Right. Sorry. So anyway, continue.
I'm trying to find out what
Spies in
DreamWorks
Disguise was Blue Sky.
DreamWorks' highest grossing film is. So far, it's bad.
Wait, their highest grossing film? Ooh, I'm gonna guess. Trolls.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Gav, what are you guessing? DreamWorks' highest grossing film.
I think it's going to be one of the Kung Fu Panda movies.
It's Shrek 2.
Is it Shrek 2?
Yep.
Jesus.
Do you know what's third?
What?
Shrek 3.
What's number 2?
No, like Shrek the third is second.
Oh, right.
And then before that, it's Kung Fu Panda. No, it's not. It's Shrek Forever After.
So wait, it goes 2,
Wow.
3, 4 is their top grossing, second and third.
And then
That surprises me.
that doesn't really prove anything because the one after that is Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. So
Why the fuck are DreamWorks not just the Shrek movie company at this point?
I mean, their film Abominable didn't even make a fifth of what Shrek the third made.
That's because it was fucking awful.
Puss in
That's why.
Boots got a TV series on Netflix that lasted 6 seasons.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
What does?
I'd forgotten about that.
With none of the original cast. But, you know. A Netflix original animated series for Puss in Boots.
Mate.
But then
Kung
so
Fu
does
Panda
How to Train Your Dragon has like 5 seasons or something on TV.
Yeah.
Not with none of
Any
the
of that.
cast. Like they found really, really good voice replacements for all the cast, but not the cast.
I think How to Train Your Dragon as well was the same. So I know Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, it also has. In fact, doesn't Puss in Boots have a weird Netflix like you can choose? It's like one of the first Netflix interactive kids TV things.
Wait, what does?
Puss in Boots has got a Netflix interactive.
Yeah, they tried to put. I think they tried to like sue Bandersnatch or something
That's sick.
at one point.
That's amazing. I'd watch that. I might stick it on later. Just play through.
I think I
Puss
did
in
it with my
Boots
little
TV
brother
series.
last year.
That's awesome.
My little brother wasn't there.
Looking at it's just you by yourself. Looking at some of the upcoming films from DreamWorks, 3 out of the 5 that I've listed here are sequels. So we've got another Trolls movie, The Croods 2, and Boss Baby 2.
I never
So
saw the Croods.
what-
Was it good?
Never saw The Croods
Nah.
either.
It was. Nah. I don't remember it particularly well, to be honest. So yeah, I can't imagine it's very good.
Also, interestingly, mainly for me, not for anyone else, because no one actually will care about this, but 20th Century Fox used to distribute most of DreamWorks films, but now Disney owns Fox, so now Universal distributes all of DreamWorks films. It's a fun wee fact for you.
Gav, I
Pretty
feel
much
you
trying
should.
to stay away from the big D.
Gav should
as
sit
they
closer
best they
to
can.
whatever he's talking into because he sounds like he's in a box.
I'm turning my head too much, that's the problem. I've got an active neck.
Yeah, we know. That's why you got such a good rent boy.
But I think
Are we
what's-
gonna talk-
Yeah, so
We also
Does
need to
anybody-
talk
anything
about
else
Shrek
to say
the
about
Halls,
Shrek?
man.
oh, go on. I haven't even seen Shrek the Halls.
Oh,
this
it's
is on
so
you,
good.
Ryan. This is on you.
It was just for a start, it's called Shrek the Halls. They clearly didn't they didn't even want to do anything to do with Christmas. But someone's walked in and gone Shrek the Halls, and they're like, "Oh my god, yes, we have to do it." And someone's had to write a Christmas episode of Shrek based on that.
I think the
After-
fact
say
that
after
every
Shrek
Shrek
3.
every Shrek movie in its numerical canon, and the fact that it all fits in, like every Shrek movie's title is a pun of what happens in the movie.
Yeah,
Can you name any other film series that rely so heavily on puns?
Ah, yes, that witty, clever pun, Shrek 2.
no,
All
Shrek.
right, other than Shrek 2.
No, not really.
Well, Shrek the Third, because he's going to be a king, and then Shrek 4, Ever After. That's clever because it's the end of the series. Shrek the Halls.
You have a really low bar.
But the nice
for
thing about
what's
Shrek the
rubbish.
Halls is it's just got the cast of like Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, their children, and then like the immediate friends. Like there's not like a baddie in it, I don't think. So it's just like it's like Puss in Boots, and then like Gingerbread Man, Pinocchio, Three Little Pigs, Bad Wolf, Blind Mice, and that's it. Like that's all that's in it. But it's all original.
That's it. That's a massive list.
No, but I mean like
That's
it's
so
not
fucking-
like it's like all like the people who you want kind of thing, like that you want to have the film together, and it's all the like Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, they were all in it. Yeah, it was good. I think it was like half an hour long or something. It was like on.
If you want to hear Shrek reciting the Christmas story, then it is absolutely worth a watch.
I feel like is that not just what Beauty and the Beast had one as well, didn't they? Beauty and
who
the Beast
cares?
had the Christmas special that they brought out. It's funny that DreamWorks is consistently and will forever just be in the shadow of Pixar. Like just if we go back to the DreamWorks, what was their DreamWorks filmography? Where was that? I think every single one, or you could probably link a Pixar movie or a Disney movie that they were copying. You know.
I mean,
So Ants, Bug's Life. Shrek was just Disney on everything. Shark Tale was Finding Nemo.
I feel like The Road to El Dorado was kind of like Disney's Atlantis.
Oh, fuck, yeah, exactly. There you go. Road to El Dorado is Atlantis.
Oh, Atlantis was so good.
Shark Tale was-
Madagascar, DreamWorks, in their defense, they won that one. Do you remember Disney brought out
Wild.
animated...
The Wild.
That was it.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that about?
I forgot about that.
There was a Megamind and Despicable Me came out around the same time.
That wasn't even Disney. That was, I think Despicable Me was trying to riff off Megamind.
The Wild looks so much better than Madagascar. Like looks better.
It looks... Yeah, I don't think it was, though. I'm pretty sure it was a fucking travesty. Best joke in, very quickly, all of... Was it the Penguins movie, not Madagascar? They consistently and they constantly bring up... there's an octopus that just says actors' names as commands. Helen, hunt them down. Etc.
If you go onto Netflix, there's a DreamWorks Shrek stories. It's got both Shrek Christmas specials, a Puss in Boots special. It's got Far, Far Away Idol and Scared Shrekless, the Halloween special as well. I think
I've got my evening sorted.
altogether it's like 2 hours of bonus Shrek.
Yes.
I've just looked it up. There are so many of these. So in the Penguins movie, Drew, Barry, more power. Nicholas, cage them. Charlize, they're on the ray.
That's bad.
Hallie, bury them. Kevin, bake on. We still need that victory cake. William, hurt them.
Shout out to the
Elijah,
writing
would you
team that
please
had to-
take them away?
The writing team that just had to sit in like an office for an entire day and just come up
like
with these.
200 of them.
That sounds like someone got paid for that. That's an amazing job.
It's
I mean,
so
you would,
good, right?
Ryan, you'd thrive at a job like that because
That's my dream job. I'm
that's
going to
what
start
you do
making the
every day.
titles of the next 10 Shrek films.
Oh, that's fucking good.
What I think
right.
DreamWorks should be happy about at this point, because obviously, like you said earlier, DreamWorks are in the shadow of Pixar forever. But DreamWorks have to be so fucking happy that Illumination Studios has come along, because now they're the pure dog shit of animation, and DreamWorks gets to like sit in the middle and have some good and some bad, whereas Illumination is just all bad all the time.
It's like Illumination's the youngest sibling, and now both Pixar, Disney, and DreamWorks are just like wailing on it all the time.
Just like, oh yeah, nice try, Illumination. Get back down in the mud, you prick.
Yeah, they are bad. I didn't know that this was a thing. I've only actually just discovered that right there, and I kind of wish you hadn't told me.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I brought this travesty
Despicable
into
Me
your
films
life.
are honestly it's awful. Some of the
Well,
biggest shit.
you've got the Despicable Me movies, which have then spawned the fucking Minions. Movies.
They're just sweet corn and dungarees.
They're also immortal, and they are impervious to all damage, Minions.
And they don't have
They make it
shoulders. How
into
do they keep their
every
dungarees on?
We're asking the real questions over here on MMP. That's the first time I've ever said MMP before. I don't know why.
MMP. Right, does anybody else got anything they want to say about either DreamWorks or the Shrek universe?
It's fucking
Shrek
amazing.
5.
Is Shrek 5 coming?
There's still something, there's rumblings and there's something in the works if it's a Shrek 5 or if it's a reboot or something. But basically, they know, obviously, off the popularity of how Shrek has exploded in the last few years on the internet, they're like, let's
They're
make
cashing
another
in.
Shrek movie.
Yeah, it apparently says
Motherfuckers.
it's confirmed. It's Austin Powers writer Michael McCullough's going to do it. It was meant to come out in 2019. But we'll see.
And now it won't be out until 2022.
I mean, I
Maybe.
think it's when if Shrek 5 does come out, the main thing that's going to fuel the writing behind that is all the meme stuff on the internet. I feel.
I feel like that's going to be.
It's going
There's
to
be a really horrible, awkward rape scene, isn't there, with Shrek?
No, not that.
Yeah, that's where it started. That's where it all started.
That's where it all started. Shrek
not
is love.
that
Shrek
meme.
is life.
But there's going to be a whole bunch of like emoji talk and like Facebook and eBay will probably have weird integration into it somehow.
I think if they were smart, what they would do is very early on, Donkey would make some kind of reference and Shrek would just almost look at the camera and be like, no, we're not doing that. And then like move the camera off and then continue on just regular Shrek stuff.
That would be brilliant.
That would be very Shrek one of them.
How much? Like,
It would be very Shrek one of them.
Here's what I'm saying to you right now. If James Corden is a voice in Shrek 5, I will never watch the movie. But if he is not, then I will watch the movie.
Oh, that's good.
But to watch it, you're going to
What
have
if
to
it looks
watch,
like absolute garbage, but James Corden isn't in it?
Was that?
If James Corden is not in it, but it looks like absolute garbage, you still have to
I'll
watch
still
it.
watch
Then.
it.
Still have
As
to
long
watch
as
it.
James Corden has no involvement whatsoever, I will
He's
watch
never
it.
going to have to watch it. James Corden is 100% getting a voice. Final thing I'm going to say, guys, and then we're going to wrap this up. Ryan, you've lied to us. You've deceived us. There are not just... Shrek the Halls isn't the only one. You've also got Shrek in the Swamp Karaoke Dance Party, as we talked about. Then Shrek 4D. Then there's Far, Far Away Idol. Donkey's Caroling Christmas-tacular.
I just told you that.
You'll
Yeah,
log.
he did tell you that.
Did you?
Yeah, I said there's
that
the
at all.
other Shrek ones. There's one that's like 76 minutes long. Shrek the Halls, Puss in Boots, Far Far Away Idol, the Halloween special. Then there's like Donkey's ones and Puss in Boots ones as well.
Oh, I apologise. I didn't hear you say any of that. I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
Gary, you're sometimes like the James Corden of this podcast.
Oh, that's the worst thing you've ever said to anyone.
I'm not going to be on next week's episode. See you later.
Okay, fair.
He just leaves the call.
I think he did. I think he legitimately left the call there.
About fucking time now we can get this podcast going the way we've always wanted it to. So, now that Gary's gone,
I think he's just been quiet. I hope he's just been quiet.
if he doesn't come back, then Ryan, you have to.
If Gary goes, I go, mate.
Then it's just me and Audioboy, and he doesn't say anything.
Well,
This is actually,
you could just be you talking to yourself, which is probably your dream. So,
yeah, I was going to say this might actually work out best for me if I just get to run this podcast myself.
okay, well, you're gonna have to close it up because you've offended Gary. So,
Okay, I'll do it. So now that Gary's finally left and the person you want to hear talk the most is about to talk the most, I want to thank you for joining us for this episode of the Meandering Movie Podcast, which was obviously a bit different because we're all in different parts of the country/city.
I feel
That's
like
why
you're in the stand for doing like committing a crime, like maybe some sort of like stalking, and you've been given one last chance to say like your bit, but you know you're going to jail, so it's just really pointless. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, you're really dragging it out.
Okay, well, thank you for listening. Remember, if you want to hit us up on the social medias and have a wee chat with us, you want to jump over to Twitter and get us on @MeanderingPod. Facebook and Instagram is meanderingmoviepodcast @gmail.com. And wait, what was it? Oh no, for Facebook and Instagram, just search for Meandering Movie Podcast. And if you want to email us, it's meanderingmoviepodcast@gmail.com. If you're on iTunes or Spotify, jump down into the description. There are links down there for you to click on. That has been the Meandering Movie Podcast. We have had Audioboy sitting in with me. We had Ryan.
What up?
And me. I forgot what my name was from earlier, so
I believe it was Cesspool of Despair.
I am the cesspool of despair that is Gavin. And that is the only people that are on this podcast. There's been no one else. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, and have a lovely day.
Music is life.
Bye.
It's meandering movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.
You lanky fucking prick.